bodies, in the water 6 days and eating up with sharks and barracuda. Oh, I'm sorry, honey, but it always bring it back, the sight we saw.
Gosselin lays on that one. It looks like a hit. It is. He's safe at first. Here's the one that counts. And Nicky lays it out safely. White goes down to second.
2 years since the outbreak of World War II, everyday life in the United States remained relatively untouched and unaffected, until Japan brought the war to America with the attack on Pearl Harbor. This dreadful interruption changed the lives of every American, including Don Sarver, a prospect of the Major League Baseball team, the Detroit Tigers.
I was going to be a Major League ball player. I had played minor league baseball here in Kansas City, and then I had a chance to go to Detroit Tigers Farm Club in 1941. It had promise of advancement for the following year. But the war came along and changed all that. All the minor league teams were canceled for the following years. So just wrecked everything as far as the baseball was concerned. I was drafted. Bremerton, Washington is where I ended up. They put me in torpedo school. Spent over 2 months there in an elementary and advanced torpedoman. I was assigned to a destroyer escort that had just been built. The ship was the Alvin C. Cockrell, DE-366. We were always on the move, and we went to Saipan and Kenny and on Saipan. If you go back to the history, you will find that people that lived on the island were notified by their own government and by the Japanese that we were going to invade and kill all the people. All these people, families, actually dove off the cliffs in the water below to kill themselves because they had been told that when the Americans got there, they were all going to, nobody would be left alive. And then we were sent back down to Ballethorpe area, and we were down there patrolling again. And what happened then, we got orders. We were told to proceed immediately to a destination to the northwest. We didn't know, and nobody knew where we were headed.
Don and the crew of the Alvin C. Cockrell were headed for the last known location of the ill-fated heavy cruiser, USS Indianapolis. On July 30th, 1945, the lonely, unescorted Indianapolis was sunk by a Japanese submarine in the vast Pacific Ocean. 300 crewmen went down with the ship. The remaining survivors battled dehydration and constant shark attacks for 4 merciless days at sea. An additional 600 men would perish, waiting to be rescued. When the Alvin C. Cockrell arrived, not a man aboard was prepared for the horrific sight.
Bodies, in the water 6 days and eating up with sharks and barracuda. Oh, I'm sorry, honey, but it always bring it back, the sight we saw. Those guys floating in water, didn't know who they were, puffed up. Anyway, excuse me. Try to take off any identification we could off of them. We were told from the lead ship, the bigger ships, to do not take any bodies aboard. Had to put weights on them to send them in. It was, well, you know, it's a tough, really tough time.
The sinking of the USS Indianapolis was one of Japan's last successes in the war. By September of 1945, all Japanese strongholds throughout the Pacific had been eradicated. Facing an imminent, all-out invasion of the mainland, the Empire surrendered. The war was finally over, and Don was going home.
When we entered the San Francisco area, you wouldn't believe, and right away, well, you could hear all this noise. And God, Golden Gate Bridge is nothing but people. It's packed, and confetti was flying around. Music was playing. On that side, when we passed under the bridge, and on the opposite side of the bridge, they were packed on that side of the bridge. And they were celebrating, God is celebrating, and they took us in and anchored us inside.
Returning home to Kansas City, Don was reunited with his family. 2 of his brothers who had just returned from war were there to greet him. But his brother Bill, an aspiring Major League ball player just like Don, never made it home.
Brother Bill was killed in action in Cologne, Germany, where he was killed. We had arrived at Saipan, and the very first letter I got, we've been notified that Bill had been killed outside of Cologne, Germany. And what's bad now is my ship. I don't think that I have a living member of my ship left. Your shipmates meant so much to you. Everybody was just friends. We were friends with everybody. I got good with everybody. Some good times.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh from Memoirs of WWII, and I just want to say thank you for watching this episode. Our goal is to capture as many World War II veteran stories as we can from all over the world, but we can't do it alone. If you'd like to help us in this mission, consider supporting us through Patreon and check out our website memoirsofworldwar2.com for more information. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Again, we want to thank you for your support, and thanks for watching.